February 6th of 2020, there was a meeting.
I have been approached, prepared, and chosen.
There are many theories that we're the breeding of extraterrestrial life and human beings, and that's exactly what we are. And I'll take it a step further.
Did you see the Ark of the Covenant?
I saw quite a few things down there.
Welcome to Beyond Belief. We've got a great program for you. Jason Shurka with us, Vice President of a commercial real estate firm based out of the Big Apple in New York, and he's in charge of acquisitions and development. He writes as a hobby and has written and published a couple books so far, both in the realm of spirituality. Jason, welcome to Beyond Belief.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
Have a video clip from your YouTube channel that explains what happened to you a couple years ago and how it has led to what we're talking about now.
2 years ago, I was approached by somebody who presented himself to me as a stranger. Today, I know that that was no coincidence. We had some conversations anywhere from the fundamental nature of the universe to extraterrestrial life to the pyramids and many other fascinating things. Over time, as our relationship grew stronger, he revealed more and more information to me. And there came a point where he revealed his affiliation to a specific organization that has been in existence for thousands of years. And that's why I'm making this video today. The organization has decided, after a very long existence, to finally reveal themselves for who they are, what they do, and their purpose of existing in the first place. I want to start by saying that I am not a part of the organization. I am not initiated into the organization. I have just been approached, prepared, and chosen as a specific messenger of information by this organization.
Who are the members of this organization, Jason?
There are about 7,000 of them worldwide that work around the entire planet.
All right.
Some are very well known. They could be world leaders, producers, celebrities, in every realm that we know.
I could be in it.
You could be in it, and I would have
Never
no
know.
idea. That's a possibility. But most of the people that work in TLS are not known. They're just people with a double life, with a cover,
Okay.
and nobody knows what they actually
How are
do.
they recruited?
That's a great question. For the most part, from my understanding so far, and I've only had really 2 years of experience,
Okay.
because that's when it started in my life, they choose people, at least the people that I know, based on an energetic criteria that those people fit in terms of some sort of energy or ability that they're born with.
You're a piece of a puzzle, aren't you?
Completely.
And they needed that piece.
I guess so.
What is their mission?
Their purpose is to guide humanity in reaching a higher level of consciousness and awareness.
February 6th, 2020, have anything to do with this?
Very much so.
Tell me
So,
about that date.
February 6th of 2020, this year, there was a meeting. That meeting is referred to in the document called the Pyramid Code, which, by the way, there is a documentary called the Pyramid Code and another book called the Pyramid Code. So I just want to make it clear that the Pyramid Code that I'm talking about is on my website. It's free. You can download it.
Okay.
And it's about 44 pages to read. It takes about 4 hours. On February 6th, there was a meeting that happened between me, a few other members, and people of TLS, and it was led by one of the heads of the organization. There's a person in the organization who is one of the leaders. His name is Rabbi AA. In Hebrew, it's Rabbi Aleph Aleph, which is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Those are his initials of his name. His full name is Rabbi Eliezer Alfrandi. Eliezer in Hebrew is spelled with an Aleph. Okay. So the translation was AA, even though Eliezer is with an E. On that date, it was me, the person who first approached me, and a few others that we're sitting down and the rabbi was speaking to us. Now, just to make it clear, this is not a religious organization. It has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with race or age.
Are they spiritual?
Absolutely.
They are.
So there's another head of the organization that's Japanese that has nothing to do with Judaism. He's 613 years old.
Literally?
Yes, physical human being, physical
seen him?
body. Him I have not, the rabbi I have. The rabbi is 424 years old.
420 some years old?
424 years
How
old.
does he look? Like a 400-year-old man?
How does a 400-year-old man look? Like
Not well.
No, very well. Very strong,
Really?
very powerful.
How has he lived so long?
I guess I'm sure he's gone through some version of the Baraka process, which is spoken
And he's a human
about.
being.
Human being. Listen, let's put it this way. If you want to speak logically, if today we can live till 100 years old with toxic water, toxic food, toxic air, and so many stresses around us like radiation and so on, and we can still live to 100, then what makes you think if you don't have all those toxicities in your life, you can't live till 400?
I just had a story about a Japanese fellow who's 117 years old and 245 days, and he's supposed to be the oldest human being alive today.
Reported.
Why doesn't anybody know about someone like this rabbi?
So again, I asked the same question. Why don't these people, there's a different question. Why don't these people come out and show themselves? But it's not foolproof because where's his birth certificate, right? So I don't have his birth certificate. I can't tell you that I know that he was born in 15
You would not
something.
bet the ranch he was 400 some years old, would
Well, because of my experience with the organization, certain things that I've seen and gone through, that doesn't surprise me. That's not the wow factor. That's just, okay, he's 424 years old. And when you see and understand the power that this man has, it's not a far-fetched thing
you?
anymore.
What did they expect from you, Jason?
I wasn't supposed to be, according to my knowledge at least, the person that's doing this right now. In that meeting on February 6th, the rabbi told the person who wrote the pyramid code to write it. And he said, I'm giving you, I'm paraphrasing, but the words were, I'm giving you permission to document your first incarnation in the year 2448, according to the Hebrew calendar, which is about 1300 and something BC in ancient Egypt. So I'm giving you permission to document your first incarnation with the condition that you also write down the pyramid code without the code.
What is the pyramid code?
Okay, so the document that is referred to as the pyramid code that you can download and read is a combination of this man's first incarnation with very, very in-depth memory with details of certain things that happened over his lifespan in ancient Egypt. By the way, according to the document, he lived 936 years old.
Jeez.
Now, if you do go to the Bible, everybody lived till 900 years old
lived that.
before Noah's Ark.
Right.
After Noah's Ark, everybody started living till 120, 150, things like that. And by the way, if you look at what changed, they went from pure, raw vegans to meat eaters. The pharaohs and people in ancient Egypt of races that we'll speak of
And they didn't have
were
vitamins
vegans.
and supplements in those days either.
They didn't need those things.
Huh. Jason, in this document that you have released, it talks about items hidden under the Dome of the Rock. What are those items?
Those items were hidden around the year 410 BC, according to the orders of King Josiah at the time, by the person who wrote the document in his past life, in that incarnation. That's the story that's being told.
Okay.
And the purpose for hiding these items, which I'll explain what they are,
Please.
was so these items, which are very powerful and sacred items, don't get into the hands of the wrong people. Because if it does, it could lead to a lot of problems. So,
Such as war?
such as very high
Chaos.
technology being in hands that can be very
With the wrong
destructive.
people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So hidden under the Dome of the Rock, and by the way, it's called the Dome of the Rock because right under the dome, which today is an Islamic shrine, mosque,
In Jerusalem?
in Jerusalem, it's right next to the Western Wall. Right under the dome, there's actually a massive boulder, and that boulder they call the foundation stone. They call it the foundation stone because it's not only the energetic center of Earth, It's also the energetic center of the universe. So Earth plays a very important role in the universe and what's going on here. Hidden directly under it, 100 and some odd feet, I don't have the exact measurements of where it is a room where there's the Holy of Holies, the Ark of the Covenant. There are 2 staffs, very much like what you see in Egyptian hieroglyphics.
One for Moses, maybe?
Moses, by the way, was raised by the pharaohs in the royal palace.
Right.
He got a lot of his powers from what is called the Baraka process, which is an initiation process that pretty much only the pharaohs and their offspring go through, but there were some exceptions, Moses being one of them, because he was a Jew that was adopted by the pharaoh's daughter. So that stick, there's 2 staffs, we'll call them. One is, it has the head of a snake on it. The other one is called the Ankh, which is the cross with the loop on top.
Right.
That's, I think, known as the stick of life.
These are all biblical things that we've heard about over
the Bible
years.
is a history book.
And it's all there.
It's all
Now,
there.
we're going to go by Skype to talk to a remote viewer, Patricia Mana. And one of her clients asked her to remote view the Dome of the Rock as we've been talking about it. Let's take a look. Patricia, you're live in Canada. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me again.
Tell us about this episode. How did this client come to you? What did they want you to try to remote view?
Well, I was asked to remote view some ancient technologies, some artifacts, and some targets. And so the type of remote viewing that I do, I track energy, whether it's a missing person or even a place or thing in the entire universe. That's what the gift of remote viewing does. It gives you the ability to be able to perceive outside of this reality and across the world. So when I was looking under the Dome of the Rock, the first thing that I noticed was the conflicting energy. The energy that is on top of that specific site is not the same resonance as what's coming up from the bottom. So without knowing any sort of history on the Dome of the Rock, I didn't even know where it was. I was able to see that there would be fights in the area, that there should be, due to the conflicting energy, on a personal level, as human beings, we're going to feel that fight. So,
Did you see the Ark of the Covenant?
I saw quite a few things down there. The first thing that I saw was a spiral staircase that went all the way to the bottom. I also saw alcoves that looked like rooms. One of them had an altar in it. I remember seeing the staffs that Jason spoke about. I saw 2 staffs down there, and I do confirm that one did look like it had a snake's head. It was the shape of a snake's head. I did see that. And then the other one did look like the Ankh. And what I noticed was with these staffs comes a very specific resonance. So I know that the person who put them there had to vibrate a certain level in order to touch these things. It was all about resonance, even went down to what these people ate. The reason why they could live longer was because of what they would eat. I saw this manna bread that was down there, and when I looked a little closer, I saw the resonance of monoatomic gold, which is something that the ancients used to ingest to bring up their personal vibration, right? Because the higher you vibrate, there's no disease that you will catch. There's no open doors for negative things to come in, right? So therefore, the body is more pure. Everything about the energetic field and what it projects is more pure. And with that comes a higher degree of intelligence, or I guess cosmic intelligence.
Jason, any questions for
Yeah,
Patricia?
it's
Go
very
ahead.
interesting that you say that, because you just connected something that isn't spoken about anywhere that I happen to know of from Rabbi AA and certain things that he said in the past. So that manna bread, in the Bible, they call it man in Hebrew. And the reason, in the story of the Bible, the Hebrews, before they became the Jewish people, when they received the Torah on Mount Sinai, which by the way is Mount Karkum today in Israel, they had to eat that bread for a period of time and nothing else. And Rabbi A.A. said that the purpose for that is exactly what you just said, which is interesting. And I know that we've never shared that before, which is awesome. The purpose of the bread is to purify the body, mind, and soul on all levels, to be able to bring the individual to get to the point where they can receive something of such high vibration in the first place. So you hit it right on the nail. I had a question for you. Did you see any sculptures of any sort? Because there are certain references that are brought up.
Yes, I did. I saw two of them. One that looked like it was a combination of an animal and a person. So one looked like an eagle, and then the head of a man. And then the other one, again, it didn't. The second one though didn't look like an eagle to me. The second energy felt almost like it had a feminine. It felt like it was the divine feminine coming through that one and the masculine coming through the other. It felt like it had equal but different energy. They were not the same. Yeah,
which is exactly in the document. It said they're called kruvim. I don't know if there's an English name for that, but the kruvim, as it says in the document, are two sculptures, two sort of statues. With both of them have the heads of an eagle, but one has a feminine body, and the other one has a masculine body. So it's interesting.
Patricia, thank you. It's a remarkable work that you've done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And how can people download the document?
It's on my website, jasonshurka.com.
Spell your last name for us.
Shurka. There's a tab that says the pyramid code. You could download it in your language. It's in many languages now. And there are audio versions, if you don't want to read it, in English and Hebrew on my YouTube channel.
Jason, thanks for being on Beyond Belief.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You've got guts, my friend.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Fascinating discussion about the pyramid code, about this organization called TLS that wants to better mankind. I hope they do. I'm George Norrie. Thanks for watching Beyond Belief.